Yeah, it was a lot faster tempo earlier in the morning. Obviously, starting pretty early, but intensity was there. I thought it was a good baseline first practice today.
Feel weird now being
A little
the
bit.
senior guy?
Yeah, I'm the old guy now. They call me Unc around the locker room now, but it's been good getting to know some of the younger guys and kind of show them around a little bit. It's been good.
Just sticking through with the programming is your third different coach, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess what kept you here and all that.
Yeah, Coach Rossi staying here was a big portion of that. I figure, for my last year, I want to be in a system that, I know and that, I have a lot of trust with Coach Rossi. And just from the meetings that I had with Coach Fitz, when he first got here, they were all positive. I liked his outlook on the vision that he saw for the program and something that I believed in and something that, I've been working towards my 3 years here. I figured, my best option would be to stay here and try to put those things into fruition.
What's it been like working with Max Fuller?
It's been good. It's very energetic. The kind of personality you want in a coach. If you guys, notice in any of the drills, he's like right behind us, almost mirroring everything that we do. Very passionate. Just a great ball knower. He's still going, learning the defense and but even with just getting here so soon of how he's able to, to direct some of the young guys and, just teach us ball, outside of the scheme has been great so far.
When you mention the young guys, what stands out about some of the newcomers and the guys who've joined this program? I know there's some returners and freshmen, all sorts of guys joining.
Yeah.
What stands out?
Yeah, I think probably the linebacker room is the most mixed room on the team. We got a bunch of young guys and myself and transfers, older transfers, younger transfers. But just speaking, because today was kind of the first time everybody's all been together per se. But just speaking for the linebacker room, I think we all kind of gel well together. There's a bunch of different personalities in there, but I think in just a span of 2 short months, we've really grown a lot with each other, getting to know each other better. Today was kind of the first time playing with one another, and so hopefully that's something that will continue to grow as we go along spring ball.
Coach Fitch is kind of an energizer bunny. How does that rub off on the team?
Yeah, it kind of forces you to kind of match his energy, and not in a bad way. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's jumping around and stuff, and we got to match that energy. It's just kind of how it goes when your leader does something, you got to follow suit. But like today, it was really good to see a head coach. Just a little bit of a contrast, not a bad thing, but just a contrast from last year. So just adapting to that and having that energy.
With Coach Rossi back with you guys, Jordan, would you expect a lot of continuity, sort of stylistically on the defense, or are there going to be major changes? We feel like,
I'm sure year to year things change. Football offenses are always changing. These clinics or whatever that they go to and they meet about stuff. Things are always going to come up that are going to be new. But I think, structurally for the most part, things are going to be the same. Obviously, there's going to be little nuances that are different. But I think for the most part, we're just going to be playing ball like we've been the last 2 years.
With your leadership skills and experience, is it easier to go to someone like Pat with his personality if you have a concern or if the players come to you and they want an answer to a question?
Yeah, I think I might be a little odd in that, but I think with just as much confidence as I've had in the last 4 years, I feel like I could have, done that this year or last year, just being able just in myself to go up to, my head coach, whoever that may be, and if I have a concern or something about anything, to bring that up.
Did the players expect you to be the conduit? Did they come to you rather than go to their position coach or something else? He always talks about a player-led team. So
yeah, maybe. About certain things. No, thankfully, no big really issues have come up so far. But I'm sure. I know I heard Coach Fitz bringing up the Unity Council, so I'm sure if some things come up either through myself or through the rest of the guys who are on that council, players will feel comfortable with the guys that they voted for to approach them to be able to bring things up to Coach Fitz.
Did you get a dog in the off season?
I did, yeah. I have a little golden retriever. I think he's 7 months now, approaching 7 months. So he's a pain, but he's cute, so I let it go.
What's his name?
Kojo, Cody Johnson. Big country guy these days.
what about the winter weight room stuff? Anything different or stand out to you there in terms of different priorities or just energy formats, anything like that?
Yeah, I think during the months of winter workouts. Coach Welsh and the strength staff have done a great job of getting our bodies prepared to go out and play football. And just looking up, they put up the Nick dietitian put up all the charts of people's bodies growth, different position body growth in just a span of 2 months, and they were major jumps. And so credit to the strength staff for putting together the right workouts and the right plan together. Intensity was great throughout each of the runs and lifts. They do a good job of being passionate in the lifts and intensifying it enough to push you to kind of reach that next level of yourself. And Coach Wells talks about training that part of your mind, and that part of your mind he's referring to on Saturdays, where everybody kind of taps into a different person when you're playing on game days. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it's true. But that person only comes out once a week, but if you never train that person, you never really know how it's going to be on Saturdays. And so kind of tapping into that mindset during the workout, so we're training that person to be intense but controlled at the same time. So when it shows up on Saturdays, there's a direct correlation.
When your coach brings in the marching band and talks about visualizing success, I wonder in terms of maybe the cultural changes of the offseason, the coaching change, how you've seen those sort of coalesce with you guys and change things.
Yeah, I know, that was crazy. I've never been in a team meeting where a marching band has just showed up it was 7 o'clock in the morning, I think, or something like that. Crazy. But I think we're starting foundationally in the culture, and I think everybody's bought into that right now with diving into our core values and what those are, and doing our best to put those things into practice. And when I say diving into each one of them, like descriptions of PowerPoints of these core values and what they mean. So it's not like, okay, here's attitude, for example. It's like, okay, attitude, and we don't talk about it, and we've broken down attitude and what that means and what it looks like and examples of it, to go in and be able to implement it as we go throughout the rest of this year.
Well, if it worked, I mean, is that something that can only show like when there's adversity and then you realize like, oh, X, Y, Z worked? Like, how do you sort of see those things go into progress? I guess that's a very zoomed out question.
Yeah, are you referring to core values
core
or just
values
core
and
values?
culture and just all the different changes?
Yeah, so I mean we have 12 core values. So I mean not all of them, like for instance again attitude. That's just your approach and waking up in the morning. How's your mindset? Are you I have to go in today and practice at 6 a.m. I get to go in and practice at 6 a.m. and play football. So not everything has to something has to go wrong to be able to improve on one of the core values, but sometimes instances show up where it's one of the core values that are up front, and especially for myself as a leader, I want to be able to check those things. Am I playing my part in checking these core values and doing what I'm supposed to do?
With so much teaching going on, what would you like to teach the staff about Michigan State?
Just the history of some of the rivalries that we have. I know that was a big thing kind of with last year's staff where we delve into it more, but just having an understanding of what particular games mean to not only the football team but the university as a whole, and the importance of those games.
Do you ever talk to
bedtime for 6 a.m. practice?
Say again?
What's your bedtime for 6 a.m. practice?
I was supposed to go to bed at 9:30 last night. I got this Oura ring yesterday. I had a list of goals of things I wanted to do throughout spring ball, and get better sleep was one of them. And a lot of the guys are coming back for pro day, and so Grady, Kelly, and Q were staying at my house last night with a newborn baby and a puppy. So I did not go to bed at 9:30 like I was supposed to. But I plan to try to get better sleep as the weeks go on.
Is that fun to have guys come back and for pro day, like you still have some people around that especially you're close with?
Yeah.
You get to see.
Yeah, they all got back. Most of the guys got back yesterday, so it was good kind of catching up with them a little bit. They're staying at my place, and Wayne swung by for a little bit, and so kind of just connecting with those guys. I mean, I've been talking to them since they've been gone, but just being able to sit down and have community face to face was really good yesterday. And I think me, Grady, Q, and Wayne got some escape rooms planned this week, so hopefully we get out a little bit. Yeah.
What kind of things did you tell them about the new vibe around here?
Yeah, it's really just all been workouts that we've kind of been contrasted because they're all working out wherever they're training for. So I've just been talking about workouts, and most of the time it's just jokes. Where it's like, dude, if you were here right now, you probably wouldn't make it. You'd probably throw up. Just kind of comparing and contrasting the kind of differences. Talking about things like, the band coming in here at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's not something that I think all the coaches that were in here today, they've never been a part of something like that. So just some of the things that have just stuck out. Most of the guys I talk to, like, man, like, that sounds great. Like, man, if I just had, one more year or, whatever that may be. But that's what most of our conversations sound like.
And talking about coming back, you got so many transfers, freshmen coming in. I know he's a DB, but how cool is it to get Charles Brantley back on this defense?
Yeah, no, it's been cool. It's kind of, I guess, full circle in a way, because he was here when I first got here, and left a little bit, but it's good having him back in here. I think he's enjoying being, I think, what he would consider his home, and I think a lot of people see it for home for him as well too.
Is there one or two new players transfers that you're eager to get on the field with that have kind of caught your eye already?
Yeah, I'm kind of biased, but Caleb Wheatland, another linebacker from Auburn. But when he came in, he kind of lived with me for a little bit while he was figuring out his living situation. So I got to know him a little bit, and just throughout winter workouts, he's a hard worker. He's my lifting partner. Super twitchy, athletic, smart. So I'm excited to see his growth as we go throughout spring ball and his development. And he also was chosen as one of the Unity Council leaders. So I mean, that's kind of crazy to me, to come in 2 months and already kind of be voted for that. So happy for him in that regard. I want to say offensive guy, but it's kind of hard because we haven't really been together. So I'll be biased again and say Trey Bell. He's been really showing up in all these workouts. He's super twitchy, fast. It seems like he has a good grasp on the defense so far. And again, he also lived with me. Him and Caleb were roommates, and they were both trying to figure out their living situations. They were both staying with me for a couple of weeks. So being able to know those guys on a personal level and spend some quality time with them has been good.
Jordan, a couple of times now in your career, you've gone through this in terms of trying to integrate 30, 40 new guys in an off season. Now you're doing it again. Like, what have you learned about how that has to go and how you make that happen smoothly?
Yeah, it's a process every year. Every guy is different, but you learn different things as you go from year to year about how I can improve in this regard. I think something that I could have improved on last year was getting to know more people on a personal level. Like today, it came up a few times where it's like, okay, I got to give this person a call. I'm like, wait, what is his name again? And just blank it because there's so many new people. So just being able to know people on a more personal level is always looking at something that I can improve on to kind of build that trust on the field where they feel like, they can trust me to give them the right call. And I feel like I can trust them to, execute the call. So.
All right, thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you.